My friends, hello and welcome to GoldenEye's SpeedLore DLTK Edition, Episode 4. Indeed, tonight we're here for Part 4 of DLTK SpeedLore, examining GoldenEye's hardest difficulty, the maxed settings. These are the 007 mode settings, all set to as far as they go, extremely difficult. You'll quickly get the gist if you're not already familiar. At this point in the series, we've shown the completion of 19 of the game's 20 stages, which is pretty insane. You can see the completed stages here on screen. And in fact, the 3 additional ones that we showed the completions of last episode were Streets, Train, and Cradle, with a brighter checkmark here, and we can see only Silo is left unbeaten. And so this raises the question, is Silo DLTK possible? You know, we watched some videos that had these expansive runs of 40 minutes long, Caverns and Train, each guard, carefully slapping and luring them. Silo would require something similar, but you only have an 8.5 minute timer at the beginning of the level. Is Silo possible? And so we'll look at Silo DLTK and examine this story, but to illustrate the passage of time that went into the wonderment of the possibility of Silo DLTK, we'll also examine the progression of Bunker 1 DLTK over the years, picking up where we left off after having watched the earliest completion of the stage back in 2004, and we'll watch a couple other runs as well that took place in this grand overarching era. So my friends, welcome on in, buckle up, settle down, and enjoy another episode of GoldenEye DLTK SpeedLore. Now, I believe last episode we did show a run that was by Boson. And this guy is pretty remarkable, Boson. He seems to have sort of become the preeminent DLTK player in the game. He loves DLTK, the challenge, coming up with the strategy and solution. And we watched some insane runs by Boson, including some Silo attempts. And we're going to watch another Silo run right here off the bat. This one's called Silo DLTK Test Run 2. And so let's just watch and see what Boson does in this run. We will likely have a lot of the CRT noise in tonight's episode. I was able to edit it pretty decently in the last YouTube upload, but hey, to me it's just comfy vibes at this point. Let's take a look. So this is Boson. We'll start right, let's see, let's start from the top. Okay, there we go. He is going to try to beat Silo. And again, there's like 72 guards on the stage. You have 8.5 minutes to do it. Can he do it? How far can he get? Is such a thing possible? We're gonna find out, baby. So he's luring the guards here to the first part of the stage. Being very patient. Already almost a minute has elapsed, and he's not even in the first room yet. Can such a strategy actually work? He only had 7 shots left in his KF7, which is not a lot. Not enough to pass away a guard who needs 10 headshots to be eliminated. Now these 2 guards are here. I mean, in order to complete Silo DLTK, you're gonna have to be super, super aggressive. You just have to go out there and do it, and do the deed. He was able to jump in there and not get shot, and he's able to skip that Silver Crate guard because of the way these guards work. It's kind of like, especially the Silver Crate guards, they have very distinct animations where they're either shooting or not shooting. And so he was able to kind of make his way through the level in between those animations. And even with that guard, we saw some interesting you know, because he was at a higher level, the guard wasn't able to hit him. That's not always the case, but I guess it can work in this case. And so really learning the ins and outs of every single corner and pixel and elevation of the level is what will definitely need to be done for the sake of beating Silo DLTK, if such a thing is even possible. Nice shot. Reload. Oh, intense. Took about 12 shots there. So the tempting thing is to lure a pile of guards here and blow them up. But to beat the level, you probably just have to only, you know, use that on 1 or 2 guards. You don't have the time to sit back and shoot a bunch of KF7 shots and make a lot of noise and lure guards over there, you know? I feel like that guard shooting at him on the left, he could get hit. It's just kind of uncommon. Probably the path of the bullet, like, is mostly blocked by the corner of the wall. But there's probably a realistic chance where you could just get hit. And so these are the sort of risks that you have to take. It almost becomes like speedrunning a normal stage, where every sort of guard skip becomes a risk. If you're gonna get back boosted, or trolled, or shot, eventually killed. You have to make these kind of conscious decisions about every single guard, and what you're gonna do or not do. That seemed to have wiped out a pile, which is good. I think we're at 4.5 minutes here. So he's halfway through the level at 4.5 minutes. I mean, if he can figure out strategies for the next 2 rooms, you know, he might be in business here. He might actually make it happen. But see, I don't like how he's always backtracking here now. It's kind of... Oh my god. Oh, that seemed risky. See, that just didn't seem to work. He attempted to get up there, it just didn't work. Let's try to get a nade off this guard. Wow, and for some reason the video just ends there. Truly, this is what, this is all that there is. Silo DLTK test run by Boson. And we're left wondering, you know, what exactly happens next? You know, what's going to be the scene? Did he complete the level? Did he finish the level? And we're not going to find out here. No Trollerino. That's truly what's what we've been left with there. And so while we ponder exactly, you know, what happens next, we're going to examine all these other stages in the game and sort of, or at least a handful of others, and sort of examine the passage of time in this case. This was posted in August 2011. Okay, so keep that in mind. August 2011. And now all the stuff we're going to see happened before August 2011. So, you know, we've seen some pretty old runs, but just keep that in mind. As this August 2011, now let's catch up and examine the sort of the way these levels progressed throughout these 7 years, because 04 was when the first DLTK levels were completed. Actually, let me pull up here because, you know, the DLTK settings, just to remind anyone, are these. Enemy health 1000, damage 1000, accuracy 100, reaction 100. So the guards take 10 headshots to kill. They do 10 bars of damage on you, which is enough to kill you in 1 shot, unless you have body armor, then it needs 2 shots. Accuracy is 100%, so if they have a clean shot on you, you will pass away. Reaction speed 100, that means, like, you can't, like, stun them for very long. They recover very quickly. So, with that, we're going to watch the first Bunker 1 run of the night and watch how this level progressed over the years. we had watched in a Wouter run, 812 by Wouter, the first ever completion, second ever claimed completion, but first video completion of the stage. And if you recall, in 04, Illu was playing a lot and improving some times. And so this is Illu's version of getting a better time on Bunker 1. Yeah, he actually commented on one of the first DLTK episodes that he somehow went manually into his VCR and edited it from saying video to hideo. I have no idea how he was able to do that. Like, none at all. But, you know, editing the display in your VCR, that sounds very complicated. But he did it, and it was in homage to Hideo Kojima, you know, the legendary video game designer. So Illu loved some of Hideo's games, especially the Metal Gear games. And so he edited his VCR to read that as a little homage. And hey, this is a cool run. We're going to start with the dedications right off the bat, baby. A very soulful run. This run goes out to our SpeedLore champion, E Street. A huge thanks, E Street, for supporting the series on Patreon. Let's watch Illu play Bunker 1 DLTK in 2004. Now keep in mind here, wow, that's a good strat. It was kind of risky because the guard like could set off the alarm and you're toast, but it's right off the bat, so it's like doesn't matter that much. You can just reset and try again. See, that's an interesting thing. Swordvan saying the Hideo is from Metal Gear Solid 1. Is there a Hideo reference in that game? Because the designer's name is Hideo. So isn't it just a reference to his own name? Or is there a direct reference in the game to his name as well? That's always kind of... You know, I've never played these games, so I don't know. If you remember here on this level, one of the tricky things is that Boris, which is an objective, will set off the alarm. And so 3 spawning guards come in and they chase you, and they have body armor, and so it's very difficult to deal with, and he's gonna have to manage them intensely. Wow, that is crazy Fiddle May Cry. So it sounds like Illu was somehow able to copy that exact scene, which is incredible. The comment was about how in Metal Gear Solid 1, during a boss fight, a boss messes, like, you know, maybe it's kind of a spoiler, so I guess if you want to read it, you can scroll up and backtrack and read it. Maybe you don't want to be spoiled on Metal Gear Solid 1 from 25 years ago. But it was interesting there how Illu broke one of the mainframes. Boris only needs the one mainframe to complete the objective. So that's cool. You would think he would need both, but he only needs the one, interestingly. Really nice headshots there. Nice shooting. I'm gonna pause probably for the camera here. Nice. Man, it feels risky to be there so exposed, but once again, Illu's trying to sort of... The time Wouter completed the stage with was 8:12, and so Illu's just trying to beat that, you know? Bring an element of... You know, at first... I mean, you'll really see it through the progression of these Bunker 1 level, is, at first it was like a completion challenge, but then, of course, naturally, you know, speed kind of got brought into it. Thanks, Rocket Sloth, and welcome to the DLTK SpeedLore Episode 4. We're in for a comfy time tonight, just off the bat here. So it looks like Illu's gonna pause there for the key analyzer, okay? And so he definitely didn't go and clear out every single guard on the stage, which is probably a good idea, because if you know there are some guards that you kind of have to go out of your way to, like, lure and attract, and otherwise, like, don't come chase you, then there's no reason to attract them your way. Just let them be, you know? Let the sleeping dogs lie. So he's got all the objectives. Now there's going to be 3 black guards with body armor chasing him. So he's got to be very careful here. But it seems like these guys do have a reasonable strategy kind of sorted out here. So they kind of just ran past. They're going to come on the left here. Oh my god. And you could get bad luck with the timing of them. Oh my god, they don't know where he is. Oh my, there we go. He's got to go for it. Oh my god, Boris is running. Oh my god, this is insane. Oh my god, what a freak accident. Oh my god, I guess he knows Boris is gonna run, and so he can take a bit of safety behind Boris there. Man, that was extremely clever. In case that guard on the right saw him. So Illu has Bunker 1 DLTK 448. And there he shows the settings, very nice. Great run by Illu there, no doubt. Hideo, baby. 448. Amazing stuff by Illu. And yes, that would have been almost a 3.5 minute improvement from Wouter's first completion of this stage in 04. And this was only a few months later. But, hey, Illu improved it greatly. So that's very, very epic. So next up we would see some improvements from Adam Boson, who we just watched play Silo. There are no videos of these runs, though, because he was kind of going back and forth with another gentleman, Axel Z. You know, it's interesting, I usually say Z, but like when it comes to Axel, I just say Axel Z. It just sounds kind of better, right? Axel Z was, you know, he had made the top 10 in GoldenEye at one point on the main series, main mode. But he had played DLTK as well, and he got some good times. And a number of, you know, untitled records in DLTK mode, and one of them certainly would come on Bunker 1 DLTK. In December 07, so this is 3 years after Illu got that 448. And we remember there was kind of a bit of, you know, rush to complete the levels, and then sort of a bit of a slow time when people weren't playing DLTK as much. The novelty had worn out, and people hadn't really discovered, you know, speed running it quite yet, you see. And, but 07, Boson and Axel Z had a little bit of an exchange on Bunker 1, and it culminated in this run. A significant improvement over Illu's 448. Keep in mind the cheat target time on the stage is 4 minutes. You get the double rocket launcher cheat, that's on Double O Agent. So it's always kind of a fun, you know, goal to break that barrier on DLTK. Oh, can I break the goal barrier on the hardest mode, you know? And Boson would be the first to do it with a 354. But Axel Z would get the next 3 improvements on the stage. And this is his finest of all. And so we'll dedicate this run to our SpeedLore champion, FC Bojangles. A huge thanks, FC, for supporting the series on Patreon. Let's take a look. So again, seemed like less hesitation there. Taking 2 bars of damage didn't really do anything because he already would die in one shot. You know, from any of the guards. So, you know, there is a Clob guard who only does 6 bars of damage, but I think he still has over 6 bars, so like he can survive that shot if it ever came to that. Nice shots there. It's interesting how like 2 guards pretty consistently pass away from that mainframe explosion, which is kind of interesting. Nice shot. He's got a good rhythm here. You want to show that box? I think that's the Clob guard there, actually, right beside the box. He boosts you a lot on like agent and secret agent attempts. And double agent, he's kind of a factor. Okay, so Axel did attract that 1 guard there. This is a good strat. Then fall back, shoot this camera out. I think you can ignore the guard who's up by that camera, actually. No kidding, Sean. I would do the same. It's too hard to ignore, you know? Wow, that's hard to believe that that box did damage that far away on that guard. So I think Axel's just going to go for it now here. I do feel like Illu did a lot more kind of setup. He took the pitcher earlier. It makes sense to swap the pitcher here. Oh, that guard sees you. That's so interesting. Kumik says that that guard by the camera sees you if you get the key. And so by saving getting the key to later, he was able to, you know, deal with that guard sooner. And then also by taking the photograph later during the Boris lure. That's so funny that like Boris got stuck on the door for a second because like it clearly like lost a second. But it's like such a, you know, at this point he was already like 15 seconds ahead of everyone else. You know, Boson and Illu was a minute slower. But it's just so funny to see that. Oh my god, that was greatly played. He ran out of, he had to reload. Gave the guard a chance to recuperate. And interestingly now, he actually lost about 5 seconds here by having that reload, missing too many headshots. But it's looking like things are going to go well here. But there's the black guards coming. He's got like kind of, there's one. He's probably just going to go for it here. Yep, you just gotta go for it. Oh, the guard rolled. That was so good. And that's the thing, is like at some point you gotta take these risks. Like, yeah, that guard could come and roll and affect you. Oh, really insane warp methodology back then. We had insane, that's all I can say, insane warp methodology. Like shooting instead of switching weapons to warp. Like, it doesn't even save any time, but back then, you know, that's what we did. So very epic there on the 338 by Axel Z. Nice time by Axel. Great run. Nice record. Way to go. Let's see if I can look this up here on the old world record database. I'm not sure if I can. LTK records. Total tally. Oh, you can. Okay, so Axel got 14 DLTK records, 12 of which were untied. So that's, you know, a good tally. And so this is one of his 12 untieds on DLTK mode. Bunker 1 DLTK. He actually got 3. Breaking it down to the 338. However, you know, we had hardcore DLTK grinder Adam Boson. Of course, like this is his mode. He's making it his mode. And so Boson, about half a year later in summer 08, played the stage as well. And he got a number of improvements. including this one, which is pretty decent improvement. Again, we get the CRT capture, very soulful capture. Feel like you're there at that era in gaming history. And so we're going to dedicate this speedrun to our SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. A huge thanks, Mr. Moxie, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Thank you very much. Let's enjoy this remarkable Adam Boson Bunker 1 DLTK run. Wow, that was crazy. So it looks like they figured a decent start. Break the console, break the box, headshot that guy, shoot out the camera before things go south, before the alarm goes off. This guard comes around this way. Shoot that camera out, nice. I guess you could theoretically save that camera for later, but it might go off on you. It might see you and then the run's over because those three black guards with body armor come in and ahead of time, and you're overwhelmed on DLTK with those guys, and they keep spawning and spawning. Okay, so interestingly, he's skipping visiting that area right now. That is an interesting choice. I thought I can sort of see him going to skip the mainframe area. Okay, I guess what he did is he lured that guard by peeking into the big room. And then he went back to shoot the camera while that was happening. This seems risky. He's really fighting close to these three guards. Oh my god. You can really hear the button presses. I mean, that's a good idea. Shoot him out there. I wonder if his buddy will see you. No. Oh, and Boris... Okay, oh, he's got Boris to start running to the level, which is very interesting. I mean, I don't even know if that strategy was developed in the main mode yet. Yeah, it probably had been. But yeah, he saved the mainframe room until now. So that, and that makes sense. Like, why double back and deal with that? Wait, he seems kind of nervous. Oh my god, he pressed B early to sound the alarm. This is crazy. What's he gonna do here? Oh my god. He could easily got shot there. He probably did many times. Oh my god. I guess the analyzer works there. Oh my god, late analyze. He's got to deal with this guard. I guess he's learned that guard isn't that big of a deal. Oh my god. I mean, really good methodology, 302. A lot of clever strats. No cheats on, very nice. But yeah, a lot of stuff that wasn't, like the strategy here, for example, is shoot this guard while opening the door to keep him injured, but he kind of gets like stuck and like he misses a bunch of shots. Obviously he's like super nervous probably. But like that could have gone awry. I'm sure when he leaves the Boris room to go here, that could have gone awry as well. A lot of things could have gone. I mean, he peeked there probably to get like one extra animation of those guards and probably to load them there so that way they wouldn't like, you know, warp to your location here and just kill you. And like he could easily got shot there and probably did many times. Goes here, he has to wait like a couple seconds for the guard to come, so he pulls the key analyzer, waits, peeks the guard, then has to go and grab it, not get shot there. The angle of your movement in that hall has to be probably pretty good too. Like, you want to get behind that wall quickly. You don't want to go straight down the stairs. You want a good angle. And it's a very, well thought out run. It really shows that a lot of time and thought's been put into it. And so, nice job, Boson, getting the 302. Again, quite a good improvement. I was going to browse the thread here. Let's take a look at the thread. So yeah, these Boson times were summer 08. And then we would see, some more interest in the stage. We'd see a lot more interest in DLTK. This gentleman, Eddie Lovins, came in. We can see his forum profile here. His old photograph is defunct now. What's it called? Link rot? I think it's called link rot. Image rot, same thing. It's a known phenomenon on the internet, on old websites. Boson's as well is defunct. That's kind of funny. And they're kind of discussing playing levels, discussing strategies. This was probably around the time that Cradle actually got completed for the first time. Almost. It would happen a little bit later. But we can see a little bit of revitalization. Oh my god, sorry, who's this? David Lynch 007. His name is Robert Horton. 2 DLTK videos. Do these still exist? No, I'm not surprised. I would have shown them if they existed. That's crazy. But we can start to see a lot of steam picking up in DLTK in October 09. I'm trying to think back to October 09. Kind of a weird time in history, Look, dude, of course, if you know Luke and Luke's relationship with David Lynch's media, you would find it hilarious that, of course, Luke commented on a guy who joins the name David Lynch. But, yeah, anyways. Robert, that's crazy, Lost Media. We can see Lovins here, and yeah, he was a top 10 player, very good mainline player, but he played DLTK as well. He was saying, okay, he played a bunch of DLTK, I'm going to go and get a bunch of records, and he got a few on Bunker 1, and there was actually some back and forth here. Because Axel Z was also playing it. Lovins 249. And so they were, kind of going back and forth, getting some good runs. And we're going to watch one of these runs right here. So this was the one that Eddie was certainly among the most satisfied with. It's a 241 here. Let's see what kind of improvements he's getting. Oh my god. Oh man, that guard felt like he was invincible. Oh my god, that guard felt crazy too. Yeah, so actually, Eddie, if you remember on the Bunker 1 Secret Agent lore episode, I think it was in 2018, maybe 2019, Eddie sort of pioneered quick pausing on the stage, doing sort of extra quick pausing, which was helpful for a lot of people getting 21 and 22. Another quick pause there, I think. And so it's one of those things, actually, like, he kind of realized the strength of quick pauses, and like that probably only saves like 2 seconds on the entirety of the DLTK. Like, his last pause is what matters. But it's an advantage that you're starting with. You're starting with this advantage. And it's enough to sort of give you that edge. It's like a confidence booster. Like, okay, I have a bit of an edge. Let's see how far I can take that edge. I mean, you got a nade. It'd be so tempting to throw here. But it's probably not worth it because you would attract other guards. I wonder if getting a nade was in his, like, plan. And it's interesting how Boson had the running Boris. That all seems to go on really well. Like, Boson's run was definitely way more chaotic. There's a lot going on. I mean, Eddie probably knows he can just take this guard out. Right? And then pause, yep. Get the data thief. He's got the other objectives done. Okay. So by manually setting off the alarm there, it, like, prevents the guards from spawning to some extent. It's like they don't want to spawn when you're right there. And so, there you go. Yeah. Opening the door. It's interesting because we saw the guys go down there earlier, but they didn't keep the door open. Exactly. There you go. So Flickerform said that if the door is kept open, they don't spawn. And that obviously helps a lot because you don't have to go and, like, wait for them to roll around. And the door does have quite a long timer on it. So it's like, let's take a look here, right? He pauses. Opens the door, it's like 2:35, they're not going to spawn. And he's back there. 2:35 was the timestamp on the YouTube video. He's back there at like 2:48, seeing the door open, 2:50. And so because the door has a very long cycle on it of about 17, 18 seconds, you actually can manage to get all the way in there and all the way back. And the blackguards don't spawn, and that's, you don't have to wait around for them to run around the ring-a-mole. Is that what it's called? Ring-a-roll? I saw the term come up for the first time ever. Rig, whatever. You know what I mean. And rigmarole. Yeah. Rigmarole. Yes. They don't have to run the rigmarole around the Rosie. You can just run straight to the end. Obviously, that's a huge time save. And so that discovery helped kick things down a notch towards this 2:40 time. And interestingly, at this point in time, we would see our pal Rutsu also get involved as well. See, we see these comments between Lovins and Rutsu. They're talking about all these theoretical strategies. You know? Might be on some different levels here. But they're going back and forth. Oh, Lovins gets a 2:35. That's a good DLTK time. Henning says that. Rutsu, is that a new strat? And then Rutsu got it. This is not a joke. First completion. This was my own strat. If I could pull off my grenade strat, I can see something like 2:25. Oh my god, that'd be crazy. Oh, look at this. Clem. Interesting. Sub 2 is probably doable. Would you believe Clem say that? I don't know. It's kind of like, it's hard. Could it happen? Sub 2, that seems a far way off. Silent Foe. He was the guy who beat Streets, right? Pretty insane, you know, quite a show here. Legendary times in the Elite Forum, in the DLTK topic. I think I sense a war for Bunker 1 coming. And yet Axel Z's getting in on it. Lovins. 2:31. Wow, that's very effing impressive if you use the same strat, Eddie. Squeezing every second out. I'm not giving up without a fight. Just have to make my tapes first. They're all filled. Oh no. Rutsu's got Rutsu having video recording issues. Who could have possibly seen this one coming? Competition. Oh, Rutsu got 230 apparently. Is it recorded? Lovins, you should be thankful I'm at work. You know, it's so funny because, like, all these posts are on, like, October 8th. Like, this kind of conversation would be, nowadays, would be lost to the, you know, Discord server, the Microsoft Teams chat, and unless you have someone, you know, logging it very safely, it's all lost, which is unfortunate. And so as much kind of lost media as there was at the time, I'm thankful that the forums were around for us to see these sort of discussions, you know? You should be thankful I'm at work right now. And then, Rutsu, you should be thankful I'm about to go to bed. Can't wait to see what you're up to next when I wake up. Axel Z gets a 243. And, oh my god, Rutsu is not confident in the sub 2. Lovins is not either. Sorry, Mark, nothing to wake up to today. Oh my god, I'm scrolling with, like, my nerves. Oh, okay, this is the silly post. You guys know me. I'm a silly poster. As much as I try to contain it, you know, still things peep out here and there. Okay, so Toth has this whole backstory lore to him as well. He got some unties in Perfect Dark Defection essay. Why Streets isn't done or Train? So Toth is saying, okay, you know, Lovins, you're a great player. Why haven't you beaten Streets or Train or anything else? I comment, and I'm actually paying homage to another notable eliter named The Great Max, who would make these really rambly, nonsensical posts. And of course, at this time, I'm 20 years old, a young male at 20, full of youthful rejuvenation. And so I make quite a silly post here. I say, you know, something about, you know, girlfriend, time is nigh for GoldenEye 007 playings often. Many people magic well throw pennies to Eddie Lovins resemble. You know, and Rutsu finds this hilarious. I don't know why Rutsu finds it so funny. Toth, I don't want to put Eddie, okay, whatever, fair enough. What's interesting is I was reading these posts from this Great Max guy who I was trying to lampoon with this post. When I first came across this post, I thought this was, like, nowhere near as nonsensical as the Great Max stuff was. But then I reread Great Max's posts, and, like, they weren't even that nonsensical. And, like, I just have no idea. It's a circle that 13 years later I simply cannot square. And I have no idea what was going on. But as we'll see, there's some more, you know, reaction and interpretation here. But, you know, the more important thing is that, you know, this day, Mark Rutsu did get a run. He did indeed get a run. A run so remarkable, my friends, it is being dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. A huge thanks, 4-Day, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon so loyally. Let's enjoy this amazing... Oh, look at that vintage aesthetic. Nice shot. This is a bit more eager than we've seen before. Wow, look at all those quick pauses. So he skipped that kind of box strategy. Blowing up the box and stuff. To get one of the black-hatted guards. Yeah, interesting. So now he has both keys, which is actually really useful. Man, Rutsu's strat looks good. He's avoiding the area front right where there's a camera, which is probably wise. He's going to shoot it now? Oh, he's going to go for this one now. That makes sense. Yeah, skip it. You can do that one later. Yeah, and at this point in time, it's probably not known that, like, you max out at 7 quick pauses. So he might quick pause, like, too much without knowing it. Oh, is that a nade? Oh, no nade. I thought it looked like a nade was coming. He's maxed out quick pauses for sure here. Great. Oh, that was great. Great explosion use. Yeah, just go get Boris now. Attaboy. I mean, definitely you can sort of see, and keep in mind, this is like October 09. Mark is brand new to the community. And he's probably like 17 or 18 years old. But you can see in his play style, like, he gets the game. You know, his shooting is very precise and methodical. His strafing is very purposeful. You can really see the quality in Mark's gameplay here, which is very impressive. You don't want to leave that room too early or Boris will start running again. Data thief. Alarm. Door. Bingo, bango, bongo. No, that is true too. It's like Rutsu actually has good video quality here, which is like hilarious when you know what lies ahead. Wide open door. He's out of there. $229, baby. Dark and cozy. GoldenEye 007, Bunker 1 DLTK, $229. Great run by Rutsu. Shows his stats. Bingo bango. Beautiful. That was honestly beautiful. I'm impressed, Rutsu. Way to go. Let's see any comments. 5 comments here. That's awesome. With great aim, he does. Deserves more views. Oh my, only 250. Wow. Crazy. I mean, it's fun to look at these old videos in strat. Let's see if the Lovin's 241. Lovin's would get more views. Obviously, he was probably like, labeled his stuff better. Or he wants 220s as the ultimate goal. Look at all these comments. And the comment threads are like completely disjointed from when the Google Plus apocalypse happened. But yeah, Rutsu got 229, which is a pretty good run. Let's go back to the thread here. There's Rutsu's post about how he got 229. Very beautiful run for this strat. He was another strat by 230 that came totally unexpected. Okay, so this is what's interesting. Simon Sternis posts this 154, but like it's never been proven and it's almost certainly fake. So like what exactly happened there, I don't know. But anyways, I don't know why Sternis. And then Clem posted this fake run, and it's like, yeah, see, Rutsu's like, is this just a big goddamn joke, or is there a new strat between you guys? Like, I can't wait to see the video. Sternis says Fish rides bicycles in response to, like, his time. And so I thought it would be like an April Fool's joke, because April Fool's in France, where Sternis is from, is like jour de poisson. You, like, tape a fish on someone's back. That's, like, the main prank there in France. Frenchmen, you know, back me up on this, please. So I thought, like, oh, was it April Fool's Day? But, like, no, it was October. So, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what he was getting at. But, yeah, I don't know, things just got kind of weird. So, Clem is admitting that it's a joke. Carathorn is saying fail, which is true. Oh, someone else posted sub 2 and Fish ride bicycles. That's funny. Yep. Lovins gets a 228. The tape ran out halfway through. Oh my god, that's insane. Oh, I guess Rutsu hadn't posted that video yet, because, you know, it takes a while to get these videos posted back then. think there was a comment here where, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, so here, this is good. So Lovins, in response to the fake times being posted, says not funny. He says Ryan's post on their hand was hilarious. So he liked my silly posting. That's a stamp of approval. Silly posting approved. You can't be happier than that. So, hey, life's good when people appreciate your silly posts. That being said, we would see the battle continue. Lovins would get this time. He would get an improvement 2 days later, October 11. Yeah, there was even this interesting arc where the guy's posts, the Great Max, were so, like, detached from reality, although, you know, that's not that uncommon on the internet anymore. But they made no sense. Oh, we got a nade. And Lovins himself, like, I guess his girlfriend at the time, maybe they're still together, hopefully, was like a nurse. And she had, like, a workbook that had some of these, like, disorders in it. I mean, this is from 2009. It's probably, like, super long ago and, like, not even true anymore. But there was some term called dissociative looseness. And, like, it sounded like exactly what Great Max had. Like, the examples were so similar. But, like, we looked up dissociative looseness, and there were no other references to it on all the internet. And so it just didn't make any, like, we just had no idea what's going on there. Like, it just truly at a loss of words. Yeah, it's just all these sort of, like, ancient mysteries and memories that, like, don't quite make sense. Yeah, and Kumik, who says, you know, there's dissociative identity disorder and dissociative fugue. I know a lot of, like, you know, psychiatrists, I'm not one, don't even, like, believe in fugue states. I don't even agree that it's a real thing. I don't know, it's bizarre. The term is simply strange and unusual. You consider a little bit of a hang-up on Lovins' strafing. Nice download data. His strafing is obviously not as clean as Rutsu. Rutsu's like oh, nice boost though, that's a great idea. And so, you know, Lovins has to be very purposeful and come up with these strategies and motions to really do the deed, which he did here on this 221. We see the great stats. And yeah, he was able to get a nade, so he was able to pull this off. Really good technique there. I mean, that got like 3 or 4 guards. And so it's kind of interesting that he got so many guards there. Yet he's only 8 seconds faster than Rutsu, you know? That's what's very... It feels like getting that nade is such an advantage and should save more than 8 seconds. And it is interesting how he's like going for a boost and stuff. You can see that it's like... I mean, the moment you start going for boosts is the moment you stop like worrying about surviving. And so what started out as the hardest mode to complete a stage, maxed settings, has now become a speedrun competition. The players are just that good. At the game. We've really sorted out the level good, well, decently, and yeah, they're getting, you know, 221 by Lovins. Pretty insane stuff. I'm going to show one more run, which was actually not the world record. But it... Actually, no, I'm not going to show that run. So Lovins gets 221, right? Fair enough. He's still in this back and forth with Rutsu. But who shows up, my dear? It's time for the big dog. Clem. The True Faith Bizarre Triangle. That's one of his ancient usernames, by the way. True Faith Clemens. And he says, it's time, it's time. He's at this point an experienced speedrunner. He's been around 3 years, maybe a little bit more. He's a legend. And he's gonna do it up. Mark's still new. Eddie's solid, but he's not a top, he's not a champion, top 1, top 2 speedrunner, which Clemens is at this point. Clemens nailed a run, baby. This run is shockingly good. October 1209, one day after Lovins' 221, Clemens gets this run, a run so remarkable, we're dedicating it to our pal, our SpeedLore champion, Soul O'Rock. A huge thanks, Soul, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Boy, I love the VHS aesthetics. Look at that. Insane. I think it somehow cleans up right off the bat. Oh, maybe not. Oh my god. I didn't know how bad this run was. The quality. It is amazing, because obviously it used to irritate me a lot, but like... Oh, he got a nade. He's got the nade strategy too. I mean, you do get a nade pretty often on this level, so it makes sense to rely on it. Oh my god, look at this insane V8. This is... It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it used to irritate me greatly, but now I appreciate it, because it's like, if you were to sort of tell someone what like an old video game recording from 2009 should look like it should look like this, you know? Man, that guard really sees you over there. Oh my god, that's so risky. Like, of course Clem just does all this risky nonsense while backing up while shooting him. Insane. Oh my god, insane audio, like, distortion. Yeah, at this point, Clem had the Untied on Bunker 1. Double O Agent at 104. So... Oh my god. So he was the Bunker 1 Pro. Him and Ace were the top 2 players in the world. Like, no doubt about it. And so it makes sense that he would just annihilate this level. Dude, the way the alarm, like, distorts. Man. That was a vibe. That was a vibe, baby. Bunker 1, DLTK 203. I mean, what do you even say? I don't think I have any words. Like, just take it all in. Take that in. It's just... speaks for itself. It simply speaks for itself. Yeah, man, the quality of videos tonight is a bit mind-blowing. This Clem 203 would settle the competition down. It would remain the world record for a year. A couple days later, Mark actually got 206, so not quite the world record. I don't know why his recording flutters. I have no idea what causes that. Yeah, we'll watch Mark's 206 from a couple days later as well. I don't know who digitized the tape. It might have been him, it might have been Boss. Okay, so Mark got a nade again. I guess at this point, it's like, right off the bat, you're just going to reset runs to get a nade. I'm almost surprised they didn't go for 2 nades, because it wouldn't have been that unrealistic. So you shoot that guard, you time the nade, bingo, bango. Take it 3 guys, shoot that camera. Everything makes sense. This is probably the identical strat to what Clem used, plus the boost. Yeah, it's insane. And now we get the border of the SpeedLore layout as well, Retroflex. Yeah, I guess it's... Oh, man. I guess because the DLTK videos are canonically considered less important than, the main mode ones, there's been, a less of an effort to, restore the quality on them. Oh, Mark didn't lure that guard. That's very interesting. And so, yeah, you can really... It's really noticeable on... in this lore in particular, it's super noticeable. And yeah, so much of the level is learning where you can shoot, where you can be loud. If he shot that guard over here, he's going to lure some other guards, which are going to be dangerous. But there's so much experience, so much knowledge. Even this guard now, you realize, okay, it's not a problem. Whereas back in the day, Illu and Co. and Wouter would be very careful when trying to get that guard out. So, this entire sort of learning each brick that goes into the stage, why you can or cannot do this or that. It's all very, it all really comes together, And so, yeah, Mark got 206 a couple days later. Wasn't the world record, but another good run, so that's good stuff. Now, of course, if I had to ask, who would come along and beat Clem's 2 minutes, there's probably 2 decent guesses here. Either Boson, who's the DLTK specialist, or Ace. And well, in this case, my friends, it was none other than the one and only Perfect Ace. In summer 2010, Ace just randomly decided to play DLTK, a couple DLTK levels. I think I even asked him about it, and he had no idea why he did this. But this was one that he did. Obviously, he's Ace. Obviously, it's going to go well. He's going to get a good run. And let's just take a look, baby. Ace, Bunker 1 DLTK, July 2010. Dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. A huge thanks to Sammy for your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look, baby. Again, insane. Okay, my guess after watching the quality of the video is this. And it sounds like a fabrication of a story. It's in Ace's childhood, they had a summer home in his native Pakistan, and obviously didn't have his best recording equipment there. And it was a 5 or 6 hour drive from where he grew up, north into the mountains. And he had a backup setup there, and he knew that this setup, this is a very similar vibe and quality to what he got his first NTSC records on in 07. But this setup he knew was not acceptable for, you know, his main records at this point in time. And so he's like, okay, I'm here for a few weeks, I want to play a little bit, I'll play DLTK. And like, that's probably why he played DLTK that summer, 2010. But he's already got Boris, he's already got Boris on the move, baby. So that is essentially where a lot of the time save comes from. The Boris, he's at this point, you know, the Boris running strategy is real on the main line, double agent. He's figured, okay, let's just get Boris to run on DLTK as well, or at least start walking. Obviously, that was a big improvement. You know, he was moving already towards the mainframe room, and that's going to be the time save right there. It all comes together, you know, you kind of piece it together when you're watching the run, exactly what happened, exactly why it happened, why he chose to play DLTK at this point in time, all that kind of stuff. There it is, baby. There it is. Bunker 1, DLTK 159. There's the settings. Sub 2, he got the sub 2 for real, which everyone in the thread in October of the year earlier was saying was impossible, and so on and so forth. What if I can find anything interesting in the thread? I'll scroll for a bit for it. July 2010. There might be, you know, who knows? Who knows what lies within. Here we go, Ace. Ace is starting to post his Bunker 1 DLTK times. Just felt like playing this. Start was pretty slow, the rest was decent. Took 2 to 3 hours. Rutsu. Ace improving, had a 149 death. See, Clemen, you can tell Clem's a little bit salty, even though back then. I guess Ace has to match my DLTK LTK Turbo Slapper times too. Did Ace just... Oh yeah, Ace had only recently tied Clemens on double agent on this level as well. So that's a kind of interesting side note here. There we go, Bunker 1 DLTK 159. Now he's going to try Facility DLTK and all this other stuff. Lark, insane run, Ace. Why didn't the black suit guard show up when the alarm went off? Lovins to Larkin, you are way behind in DLTK progress to ask that question. I started doing that back in 09. They can't spawn when we set off the alarm because Bond is right there, and they can't spawn while he's gone because the door is open. Wow, insane. Oh, and there, look, Mark remembered the fish on a bicycle, and he even found a little clip art of it. That's amazing. Good threads. So, one interesting thing I was going to mention was that Ace's Bunker 1 DLTK 159 remained untied until this year. 11 plus years, almost 12 years untied. One of the longest standing unties in the entire history of the game, in any mode. Another similar time is this Boson Runway DLTK 43. I'm going to show that one as well, because the point of this whole sort of side quest through Bunker 1 and other stages is that all this is happening while Silo DLTK still's never been completed. So let's watch Boson on Runway DLTK, just chucks an aid. I think the world record progression of Runway DLTK only has 4 completions and improvements to it. You know, people have completed the level outside of those guys, but because Boson got this run in 2010 and it's still untied, oh my god, 2 hits, 3 hits. There's just no progression. Like, he got like the best time, he got an amazing time 12 years ago, no one's beaten it since. 43 runway. Shows the stats. Nicely done. Yeah, here, I'll actually pull up the runway progression here because it's insane. Yeah. In all of runway DLTK history, we have these times. I showed the 46 by Brandon in episode 1. Like, that is the entire world record progression of runway DLTK, which is really amazing and insane. And so we can see, like, in a way, and this may not remain true forever, but Boson is certainly still the DLTK specialist, and on very, like, DLTK heavy levels with lots of strategizing, he's going to be the best player on DLTK. He's spent the most time, the most focus, the most thought. When a level becomes sort of very speed runnable, so it's discovered it's not super hard to survive anymore, we know the strats, we have it sorted out, guys like Mark and Clem and Ace are going to rise to the top. But once like a pure DLTK level still, Boson is going to be the best player. And that's further illustrated here on Caverns, which is another level similar where there's not too much of a world record progression. In fact, this one is actually really funny, the Caverns run, because if you recall in episode 2, was it episode 2? We watched Illu's Caverns DLTK 4108. It was an insane run. 41 minutes. It was like, it was just unbelievable. Illu's 41-minute run remained the record for about 4.5 years until Boson started playing Caverns DLTK. Boson took that time from 41 minutes down to 23, down to 12, down to 10. He stopped for a little while, then he came back to Caverns, and they got a couple more improvements, including this one. I'm going to let this run play. I'm going to step away for a couple minutes, but I'll be back in time to give some commentary at the end. So let's take a look at Boson's world record on Caverns DLTK from July 2011. We see Boson has climbed up into the post-spiral part of the stage. Yet TXR, it is interesting with the blue hat guards, the body armor guards in the stage, because they do have kind of different AI, and it might have to deal with them getting shot at, but not taking damage. That, like, there might be, like, a slight discrepancy in how guards act in that situation. And so that's, like, why their AI is different or something, I don't know. Yeah, this one is insane to see how far Boson has taken. I mean, you can remember, Illu's run was 41 minutes. We're only, what, 3 or 4 minutes? And, Boson's already all the way up here, getting kind of close to the end. So it's very impressive. You know, it's kind of an optimistic sign for Silo DLTK, because if he can take a level like Caverns and bring it from 40 minutes into a sort of 8.5 minute range, you could kind of theoretically maybe do the same on Silo. And oh my god, staring down the RCP 90, insane. Does like 20 bars of damage on DLTK. There's no way to survive it even with body armor. And so the difference is, on Caverns, you can kind of slowly drop the time down from 40 to 20 to 10. But on Silo, you can't do that, so it doesn't feel as though you're progressing the same way, you know? You see that too in speedrunning, like long, you know, single segment games. Some people are willing to, you know, reset an imperfect run or whatever, but I always preferred to slowly bring things down from the top, you know, slowly improve over time. Oh my god. Is there a guard alive there? I guess, okay, he probably sacrificed the 2 scientists. He went clear with the other ones. So he knew he could sacrifice those ones. Presses B. Talks to Wade. The Trevelyan battle is always pretty tense here. Oh my god. That was actually kind of scary, because, like, in that kind of situation, you do often shoot the nade out of their hand. And that could easily have exploded and killed him. Easily could have happened. And that's a disaster on DLTK. Like, of all things to lose a run to, and you lose plenty and plenty of runs, like, that is the last thing you want to lose a run to, you know? That's kind of tense. The second Trev sees you, you get spawning shotgun and RCP 90 guards. Oh my god, he's running the drone. That is so ballsy. I mean, it makes sense, because, like, you take 1 back boost and it takes a while to turn around and shoot you. But man, that is, like, a gutsy move. Oh, but he skips the guard! He skips the guard. Caverns DLTK 854. A massive, massive improvement from the 42-minute plus time that we saw Illu get a few episodes ago. And yeah, I mean, here, if I show you the Caverns, like, progression over the years on DLTK, it's like, okay, Illu got the 41. Boson improved it from, in 09, from 23 minutes down to 10. And then came back 2 years later and improved it a couple more times. And 854 is still the world record. That's still untied after 11 and a half years. So that's pretty insane, right? You know. Yeah, I'll show this. You know, it's like, how many episodes in the future are we going to get to show some of these as spoilers? Could be centuries, you know. But yeah, Boson's Runway DLTK is still untied. 4,500 days. His Caverns DLTK is still untied. And Ace's Bunker 1 that we watched earlier, Boson would eventually beat this year, in fact. So Boson's still at it, which is pretty insane. But we can see that some of these runs we watched tonight, we watched the 3 longest standing records in DLTK history. So that's pretty amazing. But there's one more run to watch. So that Boson Caverns run was from 2011. And so 2012, we're getting into the Twitch era. And the Twitch era is fascinating because we're seeing, you know, all this growth, you know, which I guess is often considered a good thing in fields and industries and communities. And so some speedrunners are getting thousands of viewers on Twitch. Sort of the production quality of speedrunning is going up. You know, there's all this potential there. We're seeing amazing world records achieved, and, you know, mainstream articles are writing about records and amazing feats in games. We're kind of getting into the content era. The start of it, at least. You know, not so much. Before then, it was like, oh, here's a new game. It's cool. But at this point, 2012, 13, and beyond, we're getting to like, oh, there's this thing called speedrunning or achievement hunting or competitive gaming or whatever it is. And here's this gamer who did this cool thing. It wasn't just about the game anymore. It was about the gamer, about the players. And obviously that's something that has compelled me extensively in my journey of telling these stories. Like, the story of the person who played and conquered the game is much more interesting. Now, admittedly, at this time, Boson, he was not as much of an active participant in the community. He was a much less interesting character in a lot of these ways as a Clem or Mark or you know, who would go and post stories on the forums and stuff. Now, I totally get why. Looking back, it was, you know, at least in the current world, it was a bad idea to post so openly and bare your soul to the internet. You know, we know that now, and Boson was a kind of quiet guy, kept to himself, who was just really, really good at DLTK. But to me, he was a little bit kind of boring in that regard, you know, and so there was less compelling of a story there. And for some gamer to do the unthinkable and amazing, you want there to be a great story. You want there to be, and certainly sometimes the achievement speaks for itself. But we'll see how much this achievement does that. This video was posted to the Elite community in April 2013. It was truly shocking and stunning. no one could believe their eyes. They rushed to watch the video. And here, finally, after 9 years of DLTK competition, Adam Boson had done the unthinkable and had purportedly beat Silo DLTK, the hardest level on the hardest difficulty. Nice quick pausing there. Right, Gander. And I tried to find some of those news articles. At least I searched Kotaku for it, I couldn't find it. It is interesting because it was 3 years, like 3 or 4 years before we were making like explanation videos on YouTube. And so I kind of do wonder the quality of the gaming journalism at that time. How much they knew about what was happening or not happening, you know? Yeah, so Streets 112 was like almost a year after this. It was still not good at that point, Flicker, but you know, that's what's... It's fascinating to think how these things kind of get transmitted to the world. Man, this is a risky spot here. Yeah, you just gotta do that. You just gotta strafe in while shooting a burst. Because that guard will ping you so fast and heavy. Man, he's at like 530 here. He's in the second room. It's getting kind of insane. Yeah, totally, Kumik, who says it looks like his first time playing on Double Agent, which is definitely true and relatable. Another thing is this video had annotations at some point, but like YouTube removed annotations, and so, you know, GG, to be honest. Yeah, there was some effort to restore the annotations. Oh my god, what's he doing that for? Throwing all the plastiques there. I truly wonder. Closed subtitles unavailable here. Which is unfortunate, because I do want to know what the hell that was about. Oh, I didn't even, like, feel the leg of the nade go off, but, like, he cleaned that out. So many guards got cleared out there. So check that one here. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. He wants to get down to 1 plastique left, so the next time he throws in the final room, it'll auto-switch weapons. That makes sense. Again, clear. He needed 2 nades. He needed to wait out runs until he gets 2 nades. Oh my god, this seems crazy. He could use a nade here. Oh, this is a good strat. This is a great strat. Attract a bunch of these guards, but I mean, it's so risky. He was able to get like 3 or 4 guards there. Now keep in mind, the timers start at 8:30. By skipping the cutscenes, you can gain like extra 5 seconds or so. Like the timer starts 5 seconds into the level as opposed to right away. Oh man, there are 4 Silver Crate guards who have like the most 100% accuracy. You would love a nade here, just throw in the pile of them, but so about 220 left. Oh my dear. $140. So that is the catwalk. So Ormov's that way. Yeah, that makes sense. So those are 2 guards after Ormov, I believe. Oh my god. I don't even know if he's significantly damaging them. 120. I mean, it's insane that he basically YOLO ran there, knowing could possibly get hit. Losing his ammo, getting a ton of lag. He's got 1 nade left. This could easily go wrong. He's behind a Silver Crate, by the way. I think he just, like, killed, like, 10 guards. Takes a bit of damage. Has to hope he got everyone, because, like, maybe he didn't. He's crouching, snaps the pick, plastique. He's got, like, a minute left. Throws on the thing. Not a good idea when you're speedrunning, but, like, in this case, it's unlikely it'll blow up. He's got 30 seconds left. He's gonna have to run to the end and hope for the best. Couple guards coming out. The music is picking up. 18 seconds. There's guards over here. 8 seconds. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Silo DLTK 831. 203 headshots. 63 deaths. I mean, it truly is like one of the most insane things you're ever gonna see. It really is. Oh, here we go. This is gonna be cool. I kept videos of the most unlucky deaths in unusual things that have happened to me while I've been playing this level. Anyone who's planning on trying to complete this level should look away now. Okay, we got 3 minutes of this. Let's take a look. This will sum up how difficult it is, I guess. I think a nade was thrown and landed in the line of his fire. Yeah. A nade didn't come from that guard, it was thrown in. This happened only 4 days. Okay, so 4 days later, this happens. Same thing again. Wow, that's insane. I guess you could still go because, you know, if you're alive. Yeah, so unfortunately the annotations rest in peace, but I get insane deaths like that all the time from that guard. His mate can be really stupid, though. Oh, he rolled right into the nade. That's really funny. That's, like, hilarious. Here's some unexpected things that can happen occasionally. For no reason, a new guard can suddenly spawn in the walkway as you leave for the second room. Wow. That is annoying as hell. Yeah, huh. That must be like a cloned guard or something. Dat can blow up if the scientist throws it too close to an explosion. That's definitely true. It's very rare. You wouldn't have this happen in normal mode, like, no matter what, even though it can happen. He's like, oh man, he was making great pace too. He had 3 minutes left. Objective C failed. 2 other runs where I reached Ormov but died. I was low on time but could complete if Ormov didn't shoot me. He had like 8 seconds left there. I guess Ormov can like either randomly shoot or not. This one was unlucky. Never known the guard who killed me just stand there and do nothing. Okay, let's see. So 1, 2. Oh, the scientist died. That is insane. And the guard behind him, shot him. So yeah, look. There's no doubt that this is one of the most amazing achievements in the history of GoldenEye. It is important that we go and look at the thread at the time Boson posted this to get a full understanding of the community and vibe and how people responded. Ooh, okay, so Mano Cheese was working on Silo. He had sort of a stitched together run. You know, that was sort of like piece by piece, like a spliced run, but showing that each of these sort of each of the rooms are possible, the timing is possible, etc. So Mano Cheese and Boson were kind of working together on it. Is it possible? Is it possible? Karathorn says it's never possible. Henning agrees it's possible. Karathorn will be a dream forever. Mirror, live the dream. Jimbo, would it be at all beneficial to use a Japanese cartridge for the extra armor? And obviously it's 100%. Yeah, of course it is. Because you can take a hit, you know. Mano Cheese was going to try it. He's teasing that he's done it. Huge long post. No, he was trolling us. A Minions meme. Okay, then here we go. Adam Boson. After 7.5 months and 330 hours of playing, Silo DLTK 831. See the YouTube video for more information with the level in the run. Thanks to Henrik for starting the discussion on this level back in August 2011 by posting a video of some strategies he had. Mano Cheese for ideas during the discussion. And so on and so forth. Axel Z, the best accomplishment, one of the greatest milestones ever in competitive GoldenEye speedrunning. Landmark dates for our community. Epic job, Adam. Superb video. Boom, congratulations. Wow, no words. It's just too crazy. That's a great slogan. It's just too crazy, bro. Don't care about DLTK usually, but things like this are too insane. Major congrats. You should upload an HD version if you get the tape. Hopefully it's not only webcammed. Ah, yes. The narrative begins. Boson, would it be alright if you sent that video to me to capture an HD in video? The run deserves it. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, I've only got a digital camera to record with when I play. Let me get this straight. You don't have a working VCR or DVD recorder. Every time you play, you set up a digital camera to record the TV screen. Yeah, this may as well never have happened. Not to mention, according to the proof policy, it doesn't even count. Silo DLTK is still unbeaten, in my opinion. Of course, there I come in. See, even looking at it now, it's like, I'm thankful that I'm able to give Silo DLTK this, platform and reflection now, and celebrate it once again all these years later. Was my comment here harsh? Yes. Was it wrong? Not really. That's the thing. I know nothing about DLTK. It's a miracle, amazing. Oh, here's 50 though. This is what's interesting. 50 up here says you should, I hope it's not only webcammed. And then he quotes me and says, shut up and enjoy the great achievement. And here's my response, which I think is fair. It's actually idiotic. Because Adam put a lot of effort into making great annotations in the video, he obviously cares quite a bit about the end product of the video. So why didn't he take one of those 330 hours to go to the electronics store or pawn shop or swap meet to spend $30 on a proper video recording device? I think that's a fair comment. Get over it. Soft Hedwig agrees. There's no excuse for video capture like that nowadays. There you go. It shows an irrational mind to spend so much effort on one part of the process, but no effort on another. Imagine they filmed The Wizard of Oz on a webcam. Would it be as great as we know it today? When you have great material, you treat it as such. And Silo DLTK is great material. I'm fine with new players who aren't ready to invest money and time in their hobby, etc. But getting an Untied or Silo effing DLTK on webcam is exactly how to ruin what could have been a great moment in Elite history. Jimbo, as much as it pains me to say, I completely agree with Goose. It doesn't take away from the accomplishment itself, but the fact that no HD video exists at the most insane completion is kind of a disaster. Yeah, so it's kind of, the discussion goes on and on and on. And look, at the end of the day, I think the criticism is fair. I think upon reflection, Boson probably even understands this, Weiser, This is truly one of the greatest achievements in Elite history. Maybe one of the greatest achievements in gaming overall. Max stats was never meant to be beaten. The game was hard enough for the casual player on Double O Agent. And even for Elite players, LTK was quite a challenge. With DLTK, however, we were happy to beat a handful of levels. Anything more than that was just unbelievable. But somehow, one by one, the impossible levels were conquered by a combination of pure skill and generous strat work. And now, almost a decade after the mission started, by Illu in 04, it's finally over. Huge kudos to Adam for taking the final and the hardest step. This really should be made known outside of the community, as it's an achievement that can certainly be appreciated by anyone who's ever played GoldenEye. You know, Adam is a good enough sport about it. He says that if it gets taken down, then he's fine with that. It would not get taken down, by the way. DLTK proof standards were much lower. He actually hadn't completed a couple levels on DLTK yet. He was just going for Silo the whole time. Carathorn. I have to agree. It's a shame there's no proper video. You know, I guess you only play for the achievement itself and not the moment or legacy of the achievement. I find it hard to understand why you wouldn't spend a couple bucks to capture the video when you're willing to invest over 300 hours for the achievement. I mean, I think that's basically the fair way to view it, is like, it's the greatest thing ever. It deserves to be respected in that way, you know? Lovins actually came up. He hadn't posted in a few years, and posted some of his comments. Heart started racing when the music sped up. I mean, absolutely, that was insane. On that note, no crazy reaction to beating it. I've done crazy stuff like jump up and down around the room when I got certain records, but nothing out of you for the greatest achievement ever? That's true. Boson had no reaction. It was a live recording of the digital camera. And this kind of plays into his sort of characterization as kind of this boring guy. It's like, you just did the craziest thing ever. You're not even going to, like, celebrate or say, yeah? So it's hard to relate to this fellow, right? He's a machine. It's much harder to relate to him as a person when that's all you're seeing from him across the internet, right? And then here we go, right? In all seriousness, the run is obviously amazing. Obviously proof he beat Silo DLTK, it's amazing. I was just being an a-hole because if I'm not, then who will be? Webcam videos are pathetic, and those who make them should be embarrassed. We could be passing this video around all the speedrun and classic console gaming communities, promoting the community, getting 1 million views seriously, but the first thought of 95% of people will now be webcammed, insta-close. So I think that's true as well. You know, Ace tends to agree, and well, let's read Boson's comments on the run. You know, just the kind of run he was looking for. A few small mistakes. The guards were being nice. He was on schedule the whole time. He was on pace all the way through. It took 330 hours. After all this time, I have come to appreciate and respect Boson. You know, look at this nice comment. He says, I've never said I hated you or posted anything nasty about you on this forum. We've always got along okay in the past. Someone else would have said something about the quality if you hadn't. So, I mean, like, what a response from Boson, right? It's like, I'm being this huge dick in this moment of greatness, his great achievement, and still he's like, you know, very nice to me, all things considered. And I think what Yuppie says in chat is sort of the ultimate truth to it all. Boson just wanted to enjoy the game and show it to someone else. Others, like me and others in the community, were the ones who wanted it to be a big thing. And it is sort of like, how do you kind of balance it? I mean, in every sort of sport and competition, you see similar, right? A lot of the greatest athletes probably are so into their game that they don't care that it's on TV and stuff. But there are other big fans and personalities who, you know, the TV event is amazing and important, right? So And then look, even Ace again says, I saw the entire video. Beautiful, the most impressive gaming feat I've seen. Henning Blom returns. This is the achievement of the year, and people complain about the video quality. Give me a goddamn break. Silo being beaten on DLTK is a great thing to see. And then the thread devolves into Henning memes, and there's simply no better way to end the discussion of the thread with this famous video, BRB making the vid, Henning, you know, with editing software splicing a video. I think that is just the devolution of the thread, and that's where you gotta leave it. Ultimately, the things we can agree on are this. It's an amazing achievement. It did deserve better than a webcam capture. It did deserve to be celebrated as the greatest gaming achievement of all time. It deserved to be celebrated on the level of like a damn 52. And maybe it came at a time in the community where it was like too early for that. Speedrunning and this kind of stuff still hadn't been that mainstreamed to give it that attention. You know, we're talking news articles, millions of views on YouTube. That's what the Silo DLTK run deserved. You know, it has 15,000 views, which is a good amount, but it's not a million, you know? And again, maybe that's not what Boson would have wanted. Right? I can't put myself exactly in his shoes. But I feel like if I put 330 hours to become the first in the world to do this amazing thing, I would want as many people to celebrate it with me as possible. Boson is still around playing DLTK to this day. Would he ever improve his capture quality? Would this sort of be the last straw that pushed him over the edge to get a better capture quality? Look, ultimately, my reflection is that, you know, we are thankfully still around and playing and having a good time and playing for himself and willing to share his records with everybody else. And we've all come a long way, baby. And our emotions were raw at this time. And I think from a historical perspective, there's no better way than to see it all laid out like this. Yeah, things could have been different. You know, I imagine like this was a time when, you know, speedrunning was just becoming big on Twitch and whatnot. And I kind of wonder, like, imagine a world where Boson had capture quality and was streaming attempts of this. He was streaming his 330-hour process, you know, 5 hours a night for 60 days. You know, can you imagine how insane that live stream would have been? You know? Like, think about that. How intense it would have been to see him get to the last room and the timer click down and him barely miss. The kind of communal experience we could have all participated in. And so I guess ultimately that's kind of my perspective on it, is like, we, the people, the community, were robbed of what could have been an amazing experience. And is that a selfish perspective to have? You know, I don't really know. And that's kind of a thing that I've kind of always had to come to terms with through my journey doing what I do, telling these stories online, is like, you're rarely going to get the best character and the best story, you know? But the stories are still pretty damn cool anyways. So yeah, I hardly know where to leave off this episode, because Silo DLTK has been beaten. It's truly amazing, truly remarkable. In a way, I kind of feel like I was a dick about it. In another way, I feel like it was deserved. And at the end of the day, Boson did it. And like, that's the real story. You know, and certainly I wasn't the only one who reacted that way to it. Others did as well. Looking back, it does give that sort of aesthetic vibe that I was talking about earlier, watching some Bunker 1 runs. But at the time, it was like, man, it's like, this was great, but it deserves to have been so much greater. And a lot of us were frustrated with that. But hey, Boson beat Silo DLTK. We know that some of his records from this era are still untied today. Would anyone else ever beat Silo DLTK? That kind of stuff is a story for the next time in GoldenEye DLTK SpeedLore. So, a huge thanks to everyone for coming out and chatting tonight. All those watching on YouTube, all the wonderful SpeedLore legends here. I hope you've all enjoyed this remarkable episode of DLTK SpeedLore. Definitely, as far as DLTK SpeedLore goes, we know some levels, that these Boson runs I showed from 2011 are still untied today. But other levels had a progression like Bunker 1. And so future DLTK episodes are probably going to be more like that. So certainly stay tuned, stay in touch, watch this space for more on that. We'll probably do a Perfect Dark SpeedLore episode pretty soon as well. We have one researched and ready to go. Again, watch this space for more, and the best place for that is indeed over at the SpeedLore Patreon or at the SpeedLore Twitter. So my friends, that will do it for this episode of GoldenEye SpeedLore. Thank you all for watching. Stay true, my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Good night.